Whether you embrace or fear ETFs, there's no getting around their influence. Here with the week's most compelling investing themes is our in-house expert, Eric Balchunas, to take us through the latest flows.
Thank you, Scarlett. One of the biggest developments in all of ETFs over the past, because half of all new launches are smart beta ETFs. A lot of active managers counting on this to be a big deal.
Yeah, instead you could just sock your money away in some passive fund and do just as well, if not better. All right, well, Dave Natick, CEO of ETF.com, talked about the smart beta ETFs kind of struggling here. Why do you think that is? Is it the lack of exciting investment themes, or is there something more going on?
Well, we are in the record low volatility.
The complication of smart beta. You saw some of the tickers on there. I mean, VTV, it's basically the half.
At the long-awaited correction, we see a pickup in volatility. We're going to see investors
I think you would see a lot of strategy
going on in the news because the pace of M&A announcements has really picked up recently. Broadcom bidding for Qualcomm, for instance, Brookfield, GGP, also Marvel buying Cavium. You've got ETFs designed to act like merger arb managers where you can go long the target or short the acquirer, M&A and MRGR. But if you look at their performance, it leaves... I'm Scarlet Fu. This is Bloomberg ETF IQ. It's time to get passive aggressive, where we track the shots fired in the battle between active and passive investors. Jitters in the head of the iShares America's fixed income strategy. Matt, thanks so much for joining us. Great to see you. Let's go big picture first. ETFs obviously firmly implanted in equities, but only getting started in fixed income when you look at the share of overall ETFs. Talk a little bit about how fixed income ETFs are changing the bond world. Are bond ETFs filling the void of a bond exchange, for instance? Access. Now, you say the focus this year is credit ETFs. Where are they within their acceptance?
You know, I think that it's still just about 1%. So I still feel like there's a lot of room for adoption and growth.
Shows. And you've told me that it's not really passive versus active so much as you see a lot of active managers using passive ETFs in their portfolios. Give us some specific examples.
Sure thing. I think
earlier, you were there when Barclays launched it in 2007 and, of course, through the 2008-2009 crisis. We've got a chart that shows how outsized the premium and discounts for feeds into a lot of the narrative about a downward spiral as well. Matt, I want to switch over now to fixed income indexing because over the past few years, we've seen that active bond fund managers have bucked the outflow trend that have really saddled equity fund managers. Credit managers tend to outperform their benchmark, which is the AG, at a much higher rate than equity managers do with the S&P 500. Why do you think that is? Why is the AG so beatable? Let's get to the ETF life cycle, where we run you through the three main stages of ETFs. First, you've got the filing. Matt Tucker's BlackRock. I'm Scarlet Fu. Welcome to Bloomberg ETF IQ. For every ETF that offers exposure to a sector, country, or style, it's not long before others promise the same. The first ever ETF was the Spider S&P 500 ETF Trust, better known as SPY. Joining us today is Dave Levac to give us a drill down into SPY.
Thank you, Scarlett. SPY,
pretty incredible here. The first ETF began trading in 1993, $250 billion in assets, most traded ETF in the world. Take us inside the world of SPY. What does the behemoth look like from the inside?
Yeah, to rely upon that, and that's what allows for the liquidity profile that we enjoy.
Now, we know SPY attracts traders like no other. But the fee, right?
To really understand what it's going to cost them to buy and sell the product, and just a few cents.
You've been writing about this. SPY's volume is lower than it's been in a while. Maybe some of this is tied to complacency.
I mean, all ETF volume is down, frankly, but why is SPY so much lower? It's a 10-year low, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's still trading on average between 50.
At State Street Global Advisors.
Thank you very much.
Retailers are gearing up for the shopping rush this holiday season. In this week's There's an ETF for That, we highlight an online retail ETF that's returned 40% this year, beating the traditional retail ETFs that have been dragged down by struggling brick and mortar stores. All right, so Eric, what's the plan for your Christmas shopping this season?
I do half online and then half at the mall. I like to get into the spirit, but the key is to go on a weekday. Take a day off of work. You don't want to go to Saturday or Sunday. That's my secret.
So partially I buy.
Yeah.
All right. That does it for Bloomberg ETF IQ. Make sure to catch us each Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. New York time, 5:30 in London. This is Bloomberg.
Pensions and yes, there's always a great excuse to want to.
Actually, this could be a potential flashpoint if it is, because we've talked a bit about high yield and a bit of give back, but most analysts were saying, look, that's not necessarily fundamentally driven. It's just the fact that spreads got too tight. You mentioned leverage loans there. Where are the potential flashpoints? Can you even pinpoint them at this stage?
Well, we think you can't avoid losing money. This is a game of probabilities and
I'm Julia Chatterley.
I'm Scarlet Fu.
And I'm Joe Weisenthal, if you're tuning in live on Twitter, because the one that's in our region is like, not really.
I understand in hot places, as Scarlett explained to me earlier,
Yeah.
there's a reason for the whole
I mean, if
vat
you're in
of
New York,
oil
it's
and the
kind of
turkey.
difficult to go stand outside on Thanksgiving Day to fry a turkey. It's too
Yeah,
cold for
no,
that,
it's true,
right?
it's true.
I mean, but in the South or in California, like you could do it in
And
shorts
anyone
and
who is considering frying a turkey really needs to look at YouTube
whole
safety
of
videos
turkey.
because it's extremely dangerous if you don't plan
there are a lot of
ahead and
GIFs
you
on
put
this.
too much oil in the thing, and so
That's why you
be
got to do it
careful,
next to a
folks.
pool so you can
Joe
shove everything in the
Weisenthal,
pool.
the resident health and safety officer.
Be careful,
Be
folks.
careful.
Okay, Joe's going
Frying
to take
your
pictures of
turkeys.
him frying turkeys
Definitely.
as well. All right. Coming up, don't miss this. ECB Minutes due out tomorrow at 7.
Friday, of course, too.
That's all for What'd You Miss?
Bloomberg Technology is up next.
Have a great evening. This is Bloomberg.